Hey, my name is Kari-Ann, and I decided to make a pregnancy and birth story video um, to share with my friends and family and anyone else who wants to watch one. I found them really helpful during my pregnancy because, we're going through a pandemic right now. If you're watching this and it's old, hopefully the pandemic's over, but it's 2022 and it's still happening. So, my whole pregnancy, we were in a pandemic and weren't able to see anyone. Um, when my baby was born, the same. She's 4 months old now, and pandemic's still going, um, and stronger than ever right now. So when I first found out I was pregnant, I was nervous about that we'd have to navigate pregnancy and everything else in the middle of the pandemic. But thanks to other people's YouTube videos, podcasts, Facebook groups, um, we were able to get through it. Although you don't really have an option not to. You can't stop the pandemic. But I didn't get to hang out with my friends and family at all. Yeah, because if we weren't on lockdown, I was really pregnant and wasn't seeing anyone. I went to work until a couple weeks before my due date, but yeah, I didn't see anyone. I got both my shots for the vaccine for COVID-19 while I was pregnant. We'll see later what that means, but at the time, I thought it was better to take the risk of what could be in the vaccine versus what I know happens if you're pregnant and you get COVID and you don't have the vaccine. Yeah, there was that. So my pregnancy was pretty easy. Classic things, a little bit of morning sickness, a little bit of bloating. At the beginning of my pregnancy, I was losing weight. So if you're losing weight, that can be pretty normal. It was definitely normal for me because I started eating incredibly clean. And I will link what I used to sort of follow that clean eating process during pregnancy below. Um, but if you're not interested in that, we don't have to talk about it. You can avoid it. It's totally up to you what you're going to do. Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to eating healthy and not. One, you're a little less happy because, chicken nuggets are awesome. Upside, your baby's getting all the nutrients it needs, and that can be one thing you check off the list of, yay, I did something good for my baby. That's how I saw it, anyways. um, so, if the pandemic's still going on and you're watching this, I fortunately was able to bring my husband to the first ultrasound. Not everyone did. A few months previous to when I had my ultrasound, people were not allowed to bring in their partners into the ultrasounds because, they're trying to limit the chances of other people getting COVID, which was understandable, but yeah, it's sad and lonely. So I hope you're able to bring someone because it can be scary when you first go. And I think a warning should be given to every mom that your baby doesn't look like a baby. It looks like a gummy bear. At least my baby did. Yours could look more like a blob or a square or I don't know. All babies look different at the beginning, but they certainly don't look like a human. They're cute, but not very human. Of course they are human, but it's just a look. I took prenatal vitamins, and I think everyone should. I believe you can even get them for free at Thrifties, maybe. I didn't get the free ones from there, not because I'm against free ones. It's just that's not the ones that I started taking because I didn't know that initially. And I just wanted to keep with the same ones that I'd been having because I liked them. Yeah. anyways, yeah. It can be scary to tell everyone that you're pregnant. At least it was for me, because the chances of miscarriage are so high. And I didn't want everyone to necessarily know that I miscarried if I miscarried. So I waited to tell everyone outside of my immediate family until I was 4 months pregnant. But I did tell my immediate family right away, mainly because I was avoiding wine, which isn't like me, and I didn't want everyone to think that, oh, um, something's going on, that I was on some sort of weird health kick or anything like that. I just thought I'd tell them the actual reason, you know? But that's your choice. Maybe your family doesn't think it's weird that you're not drinking at all, but mine would have. um, I took a sneak peek blood test, which I'll add a link down to the bottom on what that is, but it is able to tell you whether you're having a girl or a boy at 8 weeks, which is huge. I am a big planner, so I really wanted to know. But full disclosure, it is really tricky to get your blood flowing into the little tube you have to put it in and then mail it away. Yeah, so be ready for that. It takes a while and it's messy, or maybe I'm just bad at it. I don't know. Um, I didn't think I was really showing until around the 4th month of pregnancy. Even then, I don't think anyone would have noticed. I noticed. And because it was in the middle of a pandemic, people certainly wouldn't have asked because COVID weight was real, is real. Who knows when it won't be real for lots of people. So that was the thing. But the weirdest thing happened at around, what month would this be? The 4th month? Yeah, we're still in the 4th month. I started getting like peach fuzz on my stomach, which really grossed me out. But yeah, it happened. And apparently it's pretty normal. So if you're pregnant and it happens to you, don't worry. It does go away. Yeah. So as I mentioned previously, yeah, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I decided to get both of my vaccines while I was pregnant because getting COVID sounded more dangerous to me than getting a vaccine while pregnant. I got my second dose when I was in my 5th month, and this was at the same time as my husband and I were buying a house. I was having some big staffing changes at work on my team, and well, I was starting to get a little stressed. I was in the middle of school as well. Ugh, yeah, I forgot about that. I was in school. I thought I'd take a course for fun. I thought it would make uh, things better at work. It would be a real benefit to our team to do this. I started before I was pregnant, obviously, and I continued until I was very pregnant. School involved 2 practicums, which I had to do while I was pregnant. But yeah, I did it, and I don't regret it. It was great, and one of the practicums I was actually able to use work as the practicum instead, which worked out really great. But if I was to give anyone advice, do not work full time during a pandemic while pregnant, buy a house in an insane housing market, and work full time. No, don't do it. Something's got to give. I just checked my journal, and the next thing that sort of on the docket to talk about is pregnancy clothes. So for the most part, I bought all of my maternity clothes on Facebook Marketplace. It was great. I'd highly recommend it because you're not going to wear those clothes very often. And I also just kind of stretched out a lot of my own personal clothes. They're your clothes. Do what you want. But I thought it was a little pricey to buy clothes that you're going to wear for a few months in stores. And going to stores was another risk in terms of COVID. Again, COVID, it continues to rule my life. It did also my pregnancy. It's a big thing for us right now. Yeah, I got almost everything for you on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll go into all of that later. This may not be something that people would do themselves, but I stopped eating incredibly healthy at around the 6 month, just because I was starting to feel unhappy. I really just wanted what I wanted, and I was really big, and yeah, I just wanted chicken nuggets. So you make the decision for you on what you want to eat. But sorry, Cassia, I gave up on the all natural, whole food, no GMO, no nonsense at around 6 months. Sorry. I also, for some reason, while pregnant, couldn't eat mushrooms. Yeah, I don't know if I eat any mushrooms now, but every time I ate them, instantly nauseous. So maybe my baby's allergic to them. We'll come to that later. Once she's eating foods, but yeah, I still haven't eaten mushrooms intentionally. I did once at the very beginning of being a new mom by mistake. It was in a meat pie, and I was nauseous then, but could have been because you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're doing first time mom stuff. So at 7 months, we had to check on my daughter's heart. She was having heart irregularities. So I had to go and get ultrasounds. Those ones I had to do by myself because my husband doesn't necessarily get time off work when he needs or wants it. It's easier if you're in an office job, I guess. Yeah. So, anyways, I went to those by myself. They were really scary. I didn't like it. I wouldn't recommend. If you have to go for a non-stress test yourself because something's wrong with baby, take somebody with you because it's not fun. Um, yeah. So there was that. Fortunately, we only worried for a few weeks, and you were fine. Nothing came of it. It's apparently pretty common to have heart irregularities, um, but yeah, they sorted themselves out and went away by themselves. So I chose to go with a midwife and a doula. So yeah, by 8 months I had all that sorted out. I had been going to the Cairo 1 or 2 times a week to sort of um, set myself up for success in terms of childbirth. We'll come to that later. That's totally your choice. It can also help move you along and help baby come. August 21st was my last day of, or my first day of maternity leave. You're due September 9th, so it was a couple weeks before that. Yeah. That was nerve wracking for me. I really like work. I've never not worked. Yeah, so that was new and difficult. But at this point, I was really large. Walking was getting more difficult. Um, Remembering things was getting more difficult. Basically, it was time. Yeah. So there was that. It was the first time I've been home alone for weeks. Yeah. So when I was 9 months pregnant, your cousin, my brother Jesse, and his partner. We're having a baby shower. I really wanted to go. I didn't get to have a baby shower because it was the middle of COVID. I hadn't been to any baby showers. I hadn't been to any baby anything. So I really wanted to go. It didn't matter that I was 9 months pregnant, and that was a 5-hour drive. Um, I was going. So I talked to my midwife. She did a cervix check and gave me all of my paperwork in case I went into labor because, well, the it was the possibility. And we went to the shower. It was great. I was really happy to do it. And it was one of the probably best things I did while pregnant, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I wasn't seeing anyone. And at this point, I'm big. I wanted to see everybody. I wanted to be a part of something. I didn't want COVID to continue to control my life. And the reality is, I wasn't sure when I'd be able to go home with a baby because of COVID. And because, well, it's a long drive with a baby. At my 39th week, my mom and my little sister came up to be here while I had baby, which was good. And baby was late, 5 days late. But I'm pretty sure that we started labor on time. I want to say that around the 9th is when what I thought were Braxton Hicks had started, but I think they may have been actual contractions. I didn't know. I still don't know. I think Braxton Hicks feel the same as the contractions that you're having until you're about 5 centimeters dilated. I think they feel the same, but they are less consistent. But they're less consistent at the beginning of, labor anyways, so I don't know. Things that I did to try and speed things along, I walked a lot. That's it. So my little sister's birthday is September 13th, and the weekend before her birthday, we decided we were going to go get manicures and pedicures. So I opted to just get a foot massage because I just had a pedicure a few days previous. Yeah, and that's when my water broke. At the time, I didn't know that my water had broke because I'd been watching a lot of videos, and apparently peeing is normal a little bit at the last week of pregnancy. So I wasn't sure, but it wasn't pee apparently. My water broke during a foot massage. So maybe if you're looking to move things along, I'd recommend a foot massage by a professional. It might help you. Anyways, before my water broke, I'd already lost my mucus plug, which we're not going to go into a lot because, well, you can Google it. It's gross, but it's not as gross as I had thought it was. Because, well, once you start Googling something, you really can deep dive into what it is. Yeah, so that happened. I think the night that my water broke, or maybe the night after, was when my contractions were a minute long for 5 minutes. Yeah, and that's when for sure I knew things were going. And my husband Matt, he'd been timing them. We called my doula and my midwife to advise. We let my sister and my mom keep sleeping because, well, what are they going to do? What is anyone going to do? I fully intended, and I did, birth as long as I could at home. because I think it's more comfortable at home. Once again, because of COVID, I didn't want to be in a hospital. I wanted to be in the comfort of my home as long as possible. Little did I know, I'd be birthing in the hospital for a couple days after that, because once your water breaks, you shouldn't be away from the hospital for more than 24 hours because of chances of infection, etc. Yeah, I plan to have a natural childbirth because apparently there's a lot of endorphins that can be had. I wanted to know what it felt like. I don't know. I didn't want any more unnecessary medication going to baby. That's what I wanted to do. Um, yeah, it didn't work like that, but we'll get to that later. Uh, I'd been birthing at home for a day with my doula, who I highly recommend getting a doula if you can. They're really helpful, especially if you didn't get to have prenatal classes and your first time mom and you're far away from the hospital. It's about a half an hour drive to get to the hospital from my house, and I wanted to birth at home, so I wanted the support there to know when I absolutely had to go to the hospital, she could do all the checks and things for me, help me breathe through contractions, help me time them, take a little bit of pressure off my husband, which was great. So once the 24 hours were up after my water broke, we went to the hospital, and I don't know, I don't think I was in active labor yet. I think a few hours into being at the hospital, I was what's considered in active labor. Apparently, it's not active until you're 5 or 6 centimeters along. Felt pretty active until you're 5 centimeters along, in which case you know that whoa, things got real, and contractions are a lot harder later. So I continued doing the all natural thing at the hospital for a day, and decided I needed to sleep. I was starting to feel like I was hallucinating. I wasn't able to like even string sentences together. I kept nodding off, but wasn't able to sleep due to just worrying that baby was going to come. I don't know. Pain, just everything. So I ended up getting the epidural. I was afraid to get the epidural because I have some back issues. That was another reason that I thought I'd do all natural, but once it came down to it, the risks outweighed the pain, I suppose, that was for sure. And the doctor had said that it should be fine. There shouldn't be any reason that it would be worse for me at this point. Yeah, so got the epidural. Highly recommend. Epidurals are awesome. Yeah. Ooh. Wish I said yes to that when they first asked. There was no need for that day in the hospital to not have it. I'm sure natural childbirth's great too. I wouldn't know. um, but yeah, as soon as you get the epidural, it's like you're at the beginning again. The contractions are so easy. You're like, oh, this is tiring. I don't love it, but yeah, the pain is not nearly the same. It's manageable. You're able to sleep. Yeah, so that continued on for I think another day and a half, another day. I don't know. In the hospital of continuing with Pitocin and trying to get contractions to happen more to become fully dilated and be able to push. Eventually, things came and I fully dilated, but of course, not without struggle. My epidural came undone, so yeah, for a long time I'd been getting Pitocin, which were making my contractions around 7 minutes long, and every couple minutes there wasn't a lot of breaks. Yeah, to make you come along faster. And I thought it was hurting a lot more, but I thought, well, it's just because it's the end. It's because I've only got like a centimeter left to go. But no, that wasn't why. I had no more epidural. It was unplugged. And I found out because I leaned back on the bed and the bed was soaking wet, like, and on my back. So there's no chance of it being anything else weird. Yeah, the nurse and doctor were, and midwife were like super apologetic and trying to figure things out. They turned down the Pitocin. They re-plugged in the epidural. And then I'd say within like, I think it was an hour, things were back to normal and contractions went back to easy, or, well, easier. So I got the okay to start pushing, pushed for 3.5 hours. They adjusted baby, that didn't work. She didn't really need a lot of adjusting apparently, but they went in there just to try and make sure she was in the perfect position. It wasn't working. You end up getting, it's not nice. Yeah, hemorrhoids are real. You'll get some of those from pushing for so long and so hard. But yeah, fortunately, I which was my biggest fear, I didn't poop while pushing, but I don't think I could have because I hadn't eaten in a few days, which I don't think I mentioned yet. But you don't get food when you're in the hospital in active labor. Yeah, fun fact. So I don't think I had any food in me for that to even have been a possibility, because it had been a couple days in the hospital with no food, but lots of juice. I had so much juice. Yeah. So the doctor came in and they asked if I wanted to get a C-section or if I wanted to try forceps. I thought about it. I decided forceps because I wanted to do it like I wanted the birth plan. I had already gotten the epidural, which wasn't in the plan. But it didn't work out. Baby's head just was simply too big for my body. It happens. So I got the C-section. C-sections are really scary for the dad. I didn't find it incredibly scary. One, because, well, I had an epidural. Nah, I was kind of high. But it is what it is. Sorry, yeah, I had to check on my baby. Anyways, so the C-section is difficult for dad while it's happening. I just really wanted to make sure baby was safe. I was fortunate her heart rate didn't really elevate the entire time of all of the days of birth. She was quite content right where she was. In fact, she didn't want to come out even during the C-section. So doctor pulled out baby, as they do, and instantly she grabbed the little partition separating me and seeing what's going on. Yeah, she wanted to come see me, which is really sweet and funny. Apparently not common, but yeah, baby was fully able to grab when she came out. And dad cut the cord. She got all cleaned up. She was able to be brought to me. She latched right away, which I blessed again. It was a lot of effort to get her here during childbirth, but pretty easy pregnancy, and she's been a pretty easy baby. So that's really nice. Apparently you get 2 out of 3 at best. Can't win them all. But it's only a few days, and you're gonna have the baby forever, or 5 days. I don't know, a lot of days. Yeah. But you forget all about the pain, and that's my birth story.